many are familiar with the Humboldt Broncos bus crash that claimed the lives of 16 people and injured 13 others in 2018. A new documentary series called We Were Broncos follows the life of one of the survivors of that devastating crash and how he found new purpose in his life by training to become a Paralympian. Joining us this morning to share more about the series is director and producer Lucas Frizen. Good morning, Lucas.
Good morning, Crystal. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, many of us remember watching the waves of shock and horror that spread across the country when we heard the news of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. Why did you decide to tell the story from the perspective of a survivor?
Yeah, I have a personal connection to the story. So I was best friends with the assistant coach, Mark Cross, who died in the accident in 2018. So it's something I've always felt connected to. And Ryan Strasnitsky in particular, I'd always followed his story and kind of what he had been up to online since the crash. He had pursued sledge hockey for a number of years after, and then maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, I saw that he was making a change to wheelchair basketball, a different sport. I kind of looked into that a little bit and eventually reached out to Ryan and just to see if it would be, something he would be interested in doing and kind of telling his story moving forward. And Ryan was on board right from the get-go, and making a documentary, that's the most important thing, to have a subject that understands and what it's like to have cameras following you for 8 months pretty much. But he was always willing and always so open on camera, which is what made the whole process that much easier.
Well, listen, Ryan sounds like an extraordinary human being, and I can't wait to learn more about him by following the documentary. What was it like for you and your team to be following Ryan in the training? Because you were right there in all of it.
Yeah, it was honestly a fantastic experience getting to know Ryan over, basically the last year plus. He was amazing to work with. And, my whole team, we learned a ton throughout the process, a ton about, the sport of wheelchair basketball, for example. I didn't know much about it going in, but hopefully it helps shine a bit of a spotlight on a sport like that. I know, I have 2 young kids at home that had seen me working on the series on my computer kind of throughout, and they're always asking me oh, wheelchair basketball, when can we play wheelchair basketball? So it just kind of shows that how important it is for, inclusion on our screens to help grow different things and sports that people might not be as familiar with.
Yes, well, you talked about getting to know wheelchair basketball better. When you follow somebody around, like you did, really closely with Ryan for, you said, 8 months, that changes a person. How did you and your team change in the process of being along with Ryan for his journey? Yeah,
just, seeing his real determination and perseverance. We're saying with this 6-part series, We Were Broncos, that it's about Ryan's perseverance both in life and adaptive sports. So he obviously, coming out of the crash and being paralyzed from the chest down, his life changed dramatically, but also the perseverance that he showed going forward with sports. So sledge hockey, he pursued it for 4 or 5 years after the crash, and he got to that Team Canada training camp level where ultimately he didn't make the team. And for a lot of people, after pursuing it for so long, especially after going through such a traumatic incident, they would maybe stop or give up or look to something else, but not Ryan. He immediately kind of pivoted. He needed something to push him forward with a new sport, and that was wheelchair basketball for him that he found. So, what just seeing his perseverance and determination, I know for me personally, being a filmmaker, it can be a tough occupation at times with a lot of rejection, but seeing some of the things that Ryan has gone through in his life, it gives you kind of that personal boost to persevere and be more motivated in your own life, whatever that is you're doing.
Well, I can't wait to watch this series. How do we watch We Were Broncos?
Absolutely. So the first episode, the first of 6 episode premieres tonight on AMTV. You can also catch it on AMI Plus. So AMI TV is available on all basic cable and satellite providers. And yeah, the 6 episodes premiere each Monday after that. So it's tonight, AMI TV at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And yeah, hope people will tune in.
Oh, Lucas, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
And we will give you all the details about We Were Broncos so you can follow along and watch the series again. It premieres nationwide tonight.